Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sunday Night Live. On this 8th of August, 2021. Hope everyone is doing well. I've had a wonderful weekend. Been out with some work colleagues and with some friends, and it's just been really nice. It's something I haven't done for 18 months, roughly. And so it's nice to be back and be able to go out with people that I know and love and who I haven't seen in a long time. So, yeah, it's been an absolute belter of a weekend. And we're still unpacking. We're mostly moved in. But yeah, going through bags and finally found my razor for my hair. So, yay! Haircut. So finally got that sorted out because it was annoying me, and it was. I mean, you couldn't tell because you were only ever seeing me front on, but it was kind of like a bit of hair here, a bit of hair here, and a little bit of hair there, and it was a mess. So I was very glad to find my razor for my hair and get it sorted out. So welcome everybody, and also got a nice new T-shirt branded by Coca-Cola. This show is not endorsed by them whatsoever, but I just like the T-shirt, and I needed some more T-shirts because a lot of my nice T-shirts are in the garage somewhere in a bag. So I have to go and dig those out this week. So there we go. That's the story of my weekend. Hope you guys have had a good one. So let's see who is here. Billy Morgan was the first one in the house at 10:30 in the evening my time, which is like an hour and a half before showtime. Billy, you are a crazy person, my friend, but I'm glad you're here. Let's see, Just Bob came in and he said, I'm going to miss tonight's show, having date night with my lovely wife. Awesome. Very, very important that we do such things. So, that takes precedence very definitely over my show. So, absolutely. Let's see. Lollipop Girl is here. Billy Morgan. Michael at Music to Motion is here. Marcos Gomez is here. Kevin's from Kevin's Guitar Stories is here. Alps Media, the sponsor of Home Studio Trainer, is here. Bobby Booth at Booth Mixing and Mastering Service is here. Bobby, I hope you're doing well. No show is complete without your presence, my friend, so I'm glad you're here. Tony Stringer is here. Ronald Figueres is here as well. Awesome. Lots and lots of people here. Where is Thomas from the Philippines? That's a good question. He's here. I'm glad he's here as well. You guys are talking about beer, which is nice. Billy says layback Sunday. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's see how many people we have watching the show, because I always like to check on such things. We've got about 17 people here, which is awesome. So, get your questions in the chat, folks. I'm going to run until about 10 past 7 p.m. Central Time. So we've got about an hour. Oh, okay, cool. Marcus, thank you. I'm going to run until about 10 past 7 tonight, Central Time. So we have a whole hour to deal with your questions to do with Studio One, recording, mixing, mastering, songwriting, arranging, composing, music theory. We cover it all. You know the rules by now, so just get them into the chat and make sure you type at Jonny Lipsham Studios before your questions, so that way I don't kind of miss your questions if they get buried in kind of other just general chat amongst yourselves. It helps me be able to pick out questions very, very easily. So please get your questions in the chat. Now, the piece of music that you heard at the start of the show, you guys should recognize that, because that is the tune that we wrote together or rather, you kind of guided me as to what you like the sound of, and I recorded it, and this is what we ended up with. And you guys even suggested the title of it, and it's called Cassiopeia Files because you thought it sounded like a TV kind of detective show kind of theme tune, and I agree, it most definitely does. So there is a reason why I put that on at the start of the show, and that's because I'm thinking of doing something like that again, and seeing if you guys are interested in doing something completely different, different style of music. So maybe we'll go Latin, maybe we'll go, I don't know, kind of on you guys what kind of style we go for. Just, preferably a style that I can actually work in would be good. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing a series of Sunday Night Lives where we just dedicate it to building another piece of music, and then we will, once we've recorded it, we will mix it, we will master it, and then you guys can download it and have it for yourselves for free. So that's kind of what I'm planning on doing. So if you guys are up for that, then please do let me know. You can let me know in the chat below, or you can email me, Jonny at jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk, and that would be awesome. So a little bit of news. I've kind of talked about my website going away, and it is, or at least it's not going away, but the current build of the website is going away. So in the coming few days, if you try and go to my website, you'll get a message saying that it's unavailable. Don't worry about that. It will be back. I'm in the midst of building the new one, and once it's complete, we'll do a Sunday Night Live show where we launch it, and you guys get to check it out. It's gonna be quite a basic site, at least to start with, and we will kind of add to it and develop it and make it funkier, and there may even be a blog there. So I've tried blogging over the years, never been necessarily particularly great at it, because you have to be consistent about creating content and posting an article every week or every month. So need to give a little bit more thought to that. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a different website than the one that we have now. But the branding will still be the same, so you'll still get the same, what is above my head just now, you'll still get that, and then the little watermark in the corner, I forget which corner it's in. Is it in that corner over there? I think it is. That watermark will still be there as well. So all of the branding and iconography for the site will be the same, but it's just going to be built on a different platform. So there you go. That's kind of the news that we have here. And we have had torrential rain this weekend. We've been on thunderstorm alert for pretty much the entire weekend. And let me tell you just how much thunder we have had this weekend. I saw 2 lightning strikes, and that was it. But we have had a megaton of rain. Parts of Edinburgh have been flooded. Not that we actually live in Edinburgh anymore. We don't. We've moved out of Edinburgh a wee bit. We've moved into the countryside a bit. And so we don't get flooded here so much. But still, places have been. So yeah, okay, let's get into what we have. Sean Aaron says, sounds cool, something in harmonic minor in the key of A. Maybe we'll do that. Tony says, have you heard any complaints about Studio One lagging a bit, like it was thinking a bit? It was like that when I used the podcast today. Kind of depends. Kind of depends on what system you're on, whether you're on Mac or PC, and depends on a whole host of other things. But yeah, we have seen some people saying that they have experienced Studio One kind of freezing for a couple of seconds, and then it worked. It's fine again. And that seems to be mostly Mac people that are reporting that. So we're aware of it at Presonus. We're aware of it, and we're looking into it. But that's really all I can tell you about that. DDD Entertainment says, when are you changing? Me? Change? I'll never change. I'll always be me. And I'll always be silly and stupid and hilarious. Bobby says, do you even have time to do a website? Not really, but I'm going to have to make time to do a website. So, because I can no longer remain on the Kajabi platform, which is what I have been on. Because it's too expensive. Pretty much. Marco says S1 will for the future feature some adjustable sizes for the mixer, like ultra compact. For example, I don't know, is the answer to that question. You'll have to wait and see what comes. Lawrence is here. He says, hey everyone. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Tony says he's on a PC, but he knows one who has a Mac. Yeah, it is. It appears to be mostly Mac people that are reporting it. There could be 1,000 reasons why you're experiencing a little bit of freezing or a little bit of lagging. Some of it could be to do with memory. Some of it could be to do with CPU. Some of it could be to do with other background processes that are working on your computer, that are kind of taking a little bit of the resources away from Studio One. That can happen. Or it could be read and write to and from a particular type of hard drive. For example, some of the Seagate Barracuda drives, particularly the 5400 ones, 5400 RPM hard drives, just in general, doesn't matter whether you're using Studio One or Cubase or Pro Tools or Nuendo or whatever, DAW, 5400 RPM hard drives are just not fast enough for processing real-time audio through plugins and that kind of thing on a modern DAW. They're just not. A few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, a 5400 RPM drive was perfect. Now it isn't. So, although they tend to be mostly the type of hard drives that get sold with off-the-shelf computers, like if you buy your computer from Best Buy or somewhere like that, they will tend to have a 5400 RPM hard drive built into it. Although these days most computers have SSDs. But if you also purchase an external drive that is not a solid-state drive, but is just a mechanical hard drive, make sure it is a 7200 RPM drive. Because a 5400 RPM drive is just not gonna have a fast enough read and writing speed for audio. Back a few years ago when DAWs were maybe not quite as powerful as they are now, it was fine, but not so much anymore. So I hope that answers that question. Marcus says, I'll be very honest, I like Apple, but if the PC looping about boots doesn't exist, or TPM thing about Windows 11 and mastered for iTunes wasn't real, I'd use PC again. I have always used PC. I've used PC since you could have a DAW on a PC. Pretty much as soon as Cubase was on PC and not just on Atari, I've run a PC. However, as you can see back here, I do have a Mac, so I have both, and both work just as well. For me, this really isn't about Macs are better than PC. No, PCs are better than Macs. No, it's not about that. They are different platforms. They are designed differently. They are designed in different ways. PCs are built on the Windows operating system. Apple are built on a Linux-based system. So they're very different. They have different strengths. They have different weaknesses. PCs have components and parts from multiple manufacturers. Macs don't. They have everything built in-house. So everything is an Apple part, pretty much. Apart from maybe some of the graphics cards and things like that. But for the most part, they are built in-house. They have all in-house componentry and everything like that. So, they do that because they figure, hey, it's a fail-safe system because everything is built in-house and there's no external parts from third-party manufacturers involved. Which can be a strength, but can also be a weakness at the same time. They're just different. Doors run better on some systems than others. In fact, there are some doors that just don't work on a Mac, and there are some doors that just don't work on a PC. And there are some that run better, that maybe are cross-platform, but work better on one platform than the other. I know that Cubase is much better on a PC than it is on a Mac. And I know that Pro Tools works better on a Mac than it does on a PC. But it's neither here nor there, really. Marcus says, nowadays I use PC, but I'm thinking if I upgrade a Mac or I'm very up to certified. Right, okay. Yeah. There we go. And Martin Weeks says, hi folks, sorry I'm late. Martin, that is a black mark against your name. You know it. I'm only kidding. And Steels is here as well, I believe, which is awesome. He says, hola, hola. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Oh, and I forgot to turn off my notification sounds. I'm an idiot because now it's just going to keep going. Ding, 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 ding. So let's get rid of those. Most of the time I remember, but not tonight. Anyway. Let's see. Bobs is here as well. He says, I like PCs as they're easier for me to fix and customize. That's the big advantage of PCs, is that they are very customizable. You can get a fully, completely bespoke, custom-built, purpose-built audio PC with all the best components and chipsets that are gonna be best for processing real-time audio. And have a computer that is built just for that, which is what I have and what I have always had. I've always got my computers from a UK-based company called Scan Computers UK, and they build gaming computers, but they also build pro audio computers. They started out as a pro audio company, and so they build pro audio computers. They also build gaming computers. But they also build graphic design computers that are built specifically and tailored specifically for graphic design. They're a great company. Their support is superb. Plus, I've never had an issue with either of the machines that they have built for me. So I have no complaints with PCs at all. Martin says the only real problem with having Macs is more often than not any upgrades to their OS requires upgrading hardware, and that gets expensive. Sometimes that is true. But it is not always the case. It kind of depends on how old the actual machine is as to how far you can upgrade it in terms of Mac OS. Like, a 2012 computer is only going to go so far. It may go up to Catalina. Unlikely that it will go up to Big Sur. It may go up to Big Sur 11.1, but not really beyond that. The one I have over there is a 2019 computer, and it was Catalina when I got it, and it is now running the very latest version of Big Sur, which is 11.5. And the other thing is, because of the nature of my work for Presonus, I have to have both my computers and everything else as up-to-date operating system-wise as possible. So, I have to. Tony says the hard drive I use is a Seagate Barracuda. Okay, well, you probably want to do a Google search for that particular model. But when you do the Google search, start your search string with the words spin speed and then put in the model number. And you will find, because I do this all the time with customers, when I'm looking at potential weaknesses with their hard drives or with their RAM sticks, I Google that particular thing and I Google the spin speed, or in the case of memory, I will Google the processing speed for that particular RAM stick. So yeah, check that out. Google it and see what the spin speed of it is. If it's a 7200 RPM, it could well be absolutely fine, but the other thing you also need to check is how full it is. And also, are you reading and writing to and from the same drive that your operating system is working on? So if your operating system is running on your C drive, and all of your applications are running on your C drive, which is what they should be, it's never a great idea to run your Studio One sessions off of that same drive. I don't. I have a secondary solid state drive built into mine, which is, I've labeled that audio. And what that means is that all of my Studio One songs and all of the other user data is stored on that drive. And it means that I am writing to and reading from only that drive for my Studio One sessions and not the system drive. So the system drive can concentrate 100% on running the system and running the application, and it doesn't have to worry about having to record and play back my audio at the same time. And that's where things can bog down. You can get bottlenecks, and when you get a bottleneck of data, that's when you can get some dropouts and you can get some glitches and some freezing, and you can get pops and clicks and stuff like that. So check that out. That might be important for you. Music Motion says it is 7200 RPM. Cool. Okay, that's good. Enbar says, my experience with Mac is the computers are supported with OS releases for 7 years. Yeah, I would say that's probably about right. So there we go. Bob says sometimes a bad sector or bad sectors enough small may be an indication for failure in the future. Yeah, bad sectors can definitely get you. But they can be a little elusive to track down sometimes. But you can find them on a Windows machine in the event viewer sometimes. But yeah. So there's a whole range of reasons why you might be getting some freezing, that kind of thing. So you can look at your hard drives, you can look at your RAM sticks as well. Make sure your RAM sticks are properly seated. Make sure there's no dust in the contacts or anything like that. Make sure that the processing speed of each of your sticks is the same. And also that they are the same brand and that they are, that they're a matched pair. That can be another thing. And certainly with Macs, one of the things we have seen with Macs is where people have bought aftermarket RAM, like maybe their Mac came with 16 gigabytes of RAM, but there's another slot in there, so they go, okay, great, I'm going to go buy another 16. And so they go and buy another 16, but they buy it on the cheap, and they put that in there, and then they get lots of kernel panics and stuff like that. And the reason is because the two RAM sticks don't like each other. And the cheaper RAM stick might not be the correct speed. It might have, it might well be 16 gigs, but it might be a lower speed. And that can cause all sorts of problems for your computer. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can check out, to be honest. And as Alps Media correctly points out, Mac OS upgrades are free. Correct. Which is great. Because I know that Windows, going from Windows 7 to Windows 10, yes, there was a period where you could get it for free, legitimately for free, and then after a while, there were some people that, were selling for free, giving away for free some rather illegitimate, cracked versions of Windows. We've seen a few of those pop up where people have gone, Studio One doesn't run on my computer properly, and then we find out that they have a cracked version of Windows. And that can be a problem. So there you go. But yeah, I don't really want to get too bogged down tonight in questions about computers, to be honest, because for as much as you know, I work in support and I work with issues with computers all the time, I'm here for the music, man, and I'm here for music-related questions. So let's get to those. Martin Weeks says, quick notice, the sample library Black Octopus is having a flash sale, 8 bundles for $8. They're all about soul, hip hop, and the like, but they're usually good quality. Didn't know that. There you go. Well, if they are good quality, absolutely. Go for it. I can remember Looploft was selling their Platinum bundle for $35. It's usually retails at $1,100, and I managed to get it for $39. Which was an incredible steal, and that was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I don't think they do that anymore. That was a massive price drop, and I don't know whether they meant to do it, whether it was a mistake or what, but I managed to get the Platinum Bundle, which is like a phenomenal library of incredibly high quality and varied drum loops, and there's some guitar loops from Charlie Hunter, and there's some sax loops from Bob Reynolds, and a few other things, which is awesome. I'm really sorry, Marcos, but this is not really a platform for selling, okay? So I'm really sorry about that, but my channel isn't really for promoting products that you might want to sell. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, we can't really do that on this channel, I'm afraid. But by all means, if you're interested in Marcos's drum set, 63 files, drop him an email, and if you're up for it. But that's all I'm gonna say on that. I would prefer people going forward to not use this show to promote their own paid products, or just, you know, if they're selling something. So I hope everybody understands, and I'm sure my moderators can help me out with that as well. But yeah, if you're selling something privately on your own website, Marcos, then really I think if you're selling anything, and I have sold things, I have sold courses, I sell my services, I sell my mixing and mastering and skills as a session musician. I sell those every single day. And the thing to bear in mind is you need to think about the market. So, for example, you're selling a library of drum samples. Do some research, look at the market. What is the market going? What is the going rate for a library of drum samples? And are what you're trying to sell, do they meet the same standard for drum samples? Because if they do meet that standard and they're as good as competitor libraries, then you need to look at what their price points are and just kind of find the general market value. And then once you've found that out, then you need to think about how much time and effort has gone into you creating your library. And then the next thing you need to think about is how much therefore is that worth, and how much was your time worth in creating it. How much time and other resources were consumed in creating the product. And then you kind of need to do a little bit of a trade-off between how much you think your product is worth and what the market value of it is likely to be. And therefore, can you sell it? And maybe can you sell it slightly below market value but still make a decent profit? So there's a bunch of things for you to think about with that. Martin, I don't think I was talking about you. I think I was talking to Marcos. So, no, I don't think I was talking about you. Sorry if you thought that that was the case, but I don't think so. No, no, I definitely was not talking about you, Martin. Marcos says, I only ask because I like you and trust you so much in your opinion, and I'm trying to be accurate about price. Yeah, pricing's one of the hardest things to get right. So there you go. It's a tricky business. It really is a tricky business to get it right. Mika's here. Hello, he says. I hope all is well this evening. Yeah, we're all doing great. We kind of got a little bit into some computer-related issues with PCs and Macs, but I would really like to get to some music questions before we run out of time, because we've only got about 30 minutes left. So let's get to those. If there are any. If there aren't, then we'll just end the show, to be honest. SC Martin says, I didn't want to misconvey. No, you really didn't. You really didn't. It's fine. You were actually pointing to another vendor that you had seen. And you're saying, hey, go check this out because this is cheap. Rather than actually saying, hey, I'm thinking about selling a product and this is the value I would like to sell it at. And are you interested in buying it? You weren't doing that, so that's cool. That is all good. Music Potion says, so you want to do another song based off of subscriber suggestions? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about devoting another series of maybe 3 or 4 shows to, coming up with another 2-minute song based off of your suggestions. So, we'll start off with what's the style going to be? Can I play that style? Because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to have to record stuff into Studio One. And then the second thing to talk about really is therefore the style dictates the instrumentation. And then we'll think about tempo. Then we'll think about key and those kind of things. So that will kind of be the first show. And then we'll write all of those down. And then the second show, we will go into starting to build out the Studio One session and we'll start recording it. And, we'll come up with some chord changes. You guys can suggest some chord changes. And then I will try and build a melody based on that. And you guys will help me out with counter melody. Should another instrument do this? Should another instrument do that? And then at the end of it, you guys can suggest a title for it. And then I will publish it. And I'll make it available. I'll publish it to Persona Sphere, and I will make a public link to it available. Now that you can do that in Persona Sphere in Workspaces, I'll make a public link available to it, which will only be available for 7 days. So you'll have 7 days to go and grab your link to it. So let's see. What do we have? Mika said, oh, hang on, wait a minute. Sean is asking Mika and me. He says, I've just got a 5-string electric bass guitar. Standard tuning, the 5th string is B. Have you played one? I have played one and I hated it. I was playing on a gospel track, and a gospel track quite often requires that low B string. And so I borrowed a 5-string fretless bass, being that I am a fretless player rather than a fretted player. Although I do play fretted sometimes. But on this particular occasion, I wanted a 5-string fretless, so I borrowed a friend of mine's 5-string fretless to do the recording. And I hated it. And I could not wait to give him back his 5-string bass. I hated it. And I'm very glad you can see it just at the back there, but I'm very glad to have my 4-string fretless, and I love it. I love my 4-string Fender jazz bass 1962. It's a glorious bass. Love it. But yeah, I hated 5-string bass. Although the band that I had for many, many years, the bass player in that band had a 6-string fretless bass. And so, you know, when I wrote charts with his 6-string bass in mind. So I've written for an extended bass like that, but I don't like playing them. No. Mika says, key transition chords. Can you please go over some of your thoughts on this? What do you mean by key transition chords? Are you talking about transitioning between one key and another? I think I kind of covered that in Songwriting Simplified last week, if you were there. I don't know whether you were, but for those of you that weren't on Songwriting Simplified, we kind of talked about, although we kind of did it in passing a little bit, but going from one key to another, the best way is through a 2-5-1 set of chord changes. So, for example, if I'm in the key of B flat, and I want to get to the key of G, then I'd go A minor, D7, G. And that's the best way and the easiest way to get from one key to another. I mean, you can just jump, or you can use just a 5 chord to pivot. I think I kind of did that in a kind of jokey show kind of style as well, you know. I want to go to the key of E flat. I need chord 5 of E flat, which is B flat 7. And now I'm in the key of E flat. What about the key of D flat? Whoops. A flat 7 gets me there. And if I want to get back to the key of C, G7. So, yeah. Those are your easiest ways. So, if you're in a major key, you go into another major key. It's simply 2, which is minor, to 5, which is 7, which is a dominant 7th chord, to 1. If you're in a minor key, or you're in a major key going to a minor key, the 2 chord is different. It's not a minor. It's a diminished or a half diminished chord. So, if I'm in the key of G, but I want to go to the key of G minor, I would go A half diminished, which is basically A minor 7, but with a flattened 5, and then D7. And now I'm in the key of G minor. And then if I want to go to C minor, D half diminished, G7, C minor. I mean, you can decorate that again in a slightly more interesting way. So you can go I'm going to say D minor 7 flat 5. It's just easier. D minor 7 flat 5, G7 with the sharp 5, because you get that nice resolution. So you can do that either way, to be honest. And then again, if you're already in a minor key and you just want to go to another minor key, so B flat minor. So, yeah, it's the same kind of thing. So, I hope that helps. With that, Mika, I'm just going to pop up there. Do I like trance? I've played on a trance record. Yeah, I played some Fender Rhodes solos on a really chill out trance record. And it was great fun. And I mostly had no idea what I was doing, But the producer basically said, "Look, man, just do what you do. It's a D minor thing. Just have fun with it." So that's precisely what I did, and it turned out really well. And it was actually pretty successful in the trance world. Let's see. Cleon is here. Hello, Cleon. Good to see you. I've been missing for a while, but I'm back. Time to learn something new from Jonny. Cleon, glad you're here. Welcome back, mate. Welcome back. Mika says, yes, I have a Fender Jazz Active 5-string and an Alembic 5-string Stanley Clark model. Alembic do make exceedingly good basses. I'll agree with that. Ken says he's late, but he's just had dinner. Awesome. Glad you're here. Good to have a moderator here. Awesome. Martin says 5-string. The 5th string is tuned to B. Yes, in standard tuning it is. Yes. The 5th string being the lowest string. So it's a low B, then E, A, D, G. That's the standard tuning for a 5-string bass. And then if it was the 6th string, you'd have the B, then the E, A, D, G, and then the highest string would be the C string. And Mika is happy with that. Yes, we did go over it briefly. Cool. So I went over it briefly again. Possibly slightly more briefly. I like to call those kind of things musical trunks. Anyway, let's see. Mika says, mostly tuned to B, although some players tuned to C. Yes, I have seen that happen as well. Maybe that's what I hated about that 5-string bass I was playing. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Could be right. Okay, Steel says, I really love deep chill out. And I especially like D sharp. Now, would that be D sharp? Although the key doesn't technically exist. D sharp minor or D sharp major doesn't technically exist. I suppose it kind of does. If you're in F sharp major, then the relative minor is going to be D sharp minor. But other than that, D sharp minor does exist, but D sharp major doesn't. That would be E flat. But yes. Yeah, it was fun playing on that trance record. And like I said, I had no idea what I was doing, so I just kind of improvised. Mostly because all the guy had was a couple of drum loops and some little synth melodies here and there scattered about, and a bass part. That was it. And I just kind of filled everything out with some nice kind of chords, and he really liked that. And then I did some improvisations as well, and it worked out really well. Music Motion says, diatonic chords have a pattern across all keys, such as major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, then diminished. That is correct. Yep, that is absolutely correct. And minor keys have a similar but different one. So, C minor, D half diminished, E flat major, F minor, G minor, and then depending upon whether you're doing harmonic minor or melodic minor, you get A flat, and then you would also get technically B diminished. So if I was using that particular minor scale where you have the major 7 rather than the flat 7, then yes, you would get the B half diminished. But if you don't, then you just get the B flat. So you'd go. You get B flat instead. So it depends whether you're using harmonic or melodic minor scales. But yes, they do have a pattern. Joe Gilder's in the house. Awesome. Say hello to Joe, everybody. Joe, that's hilarious. He says, from the side, you can't tell if it's Johnny or me. That's funny, mate. Yes, I, having moved into our new build house, which I am going to put up some pictures eventually of the house. Certainly some external shots, because I haven't done any of those. I've done a picture of the studio, which hasn't really changed very much since we moved in. But I managed to find my razors. They were in a bag somewhere, buried amongst all the stuff in the garage, because our garage is filled from floor to ceiling, back to front of stuff, because we have so much stuff. It's ridiculous how much stuff we have. So I found them, and yes, I had fun with my hair. It took all of 15 seconds to cut my hair. But I think it looks much tidier now. But hey, Joe, glad you're here, buddy. You and I have not talked in quite a while, so maybe we should jump on a Skype call. Just let me know when you're available, bud, and we'll jump on a Skype call and have a catch-up, because it's been a while. Let's see. Music Emotion says, Johnny Lipsham, Joe Gilder, and I all have the same hairline. Yes, in that I have no hairline. My forehead is about here, I think. I think this is where my fringe is. Right about here. Somewhere along there. That's funny, though. All right, any more interesting and exciting questions? I'm sure Joe can challenge me. Come on, Joe. Challenge me with a harmony question. I know you can. That would be cool. Because I know Joe likes jazz harmony, don't you, Joe? I know you do. I know you do. I know you. It's your secret passion that you've been hiding for all this time. So I'm sure you can ask me something about that. And I'm sure other people will be interested to know as well. Mika's on the way out the door. He has to make dinner. Awesome. It is nearly 1 a.m. here. Joe's thinking. We'll wait on Joe. Mika says, thank you. Another great show in the can. Yeah, not a bad show tonight, actually. We talk computer stuff, which is kind of something that we don't normally talk about here, but that's cool. Can we zoom for a bit before you go to bed? I'd like to hang out longer as it's only 7 p.m. here in Tennessee. Well, it's nearly 1 a.m. here, but yes, I can jump on the Zoom call for maybe half an hour, because I still have some of my cup of tea to finish. So yes, we could do that. What's a variation of the 5 major, 1 7, and 4 major 7 that cannot be so predictable? All right, so we got chord 1 major, right? And then we got 2 7 to 4 to 4. Really? Okay. Do you really mean 4? Are you meaning something like that, Joe? see, what you could do is you could play the 4 in the hand, in the right hand, and play a G underneath that. And you get like a G13 suspended, which sounds pretty cool. Turn that D7 into a D9. Yeah. And then stick like a passing A7 over C sharp. Or you could do it this way. Yeah, A7 sharp 5 maybe. Although that tends to lead to a D minor rather than a D7. Turn that into an E flat 7 instead, maybe. Something like that. Hope that satisfies your ilk. He says I've used that in a few songs right now. Cool. Yeah, so you could add some passing chords to make it a little less predictable. Like you could do, the 6 over 3 into your 2/7, and then you could do 4 with 5 in the bass, which is basically just F major 7 over G. So that can work quite nicely. Sounds a little bit kind of gospel. Yeah, I actually quite like that. But yeah, there's all sorts of kind of passing chords and substitution chords you can throw in there. Let's see. Yeah, you could certainly go. Turn that into a 7. E flat. And you could get totally jazzy with it. It depends on how jazz you want to go. But yeah, you could certainly have a play with that. Yeah, maybe we could write something like that. Play that trance song. What trance song? The trance song that I played on. I did that years ago. I did that way back in 2003 for a producer yonks ago. And I have no idea what happened to it since. I think we have the Zoom link. Copy that. Is that going to come up correctly? There you go. There's the Zoom link for those that want to join it at the end of the show in about 5 minutes or so time. Oh, 5 minor. I misread. Sorry, 5 minor. I went off on one, and you were talking about 5 minor. Okay. So 5 minor to... So if we're talking about the key of C, we're starting on 5. That's basically just a 2-5-1, dude. Lots of fun things you can do with this. You could go one. You could go. I mean, this is basically a 2-5-1 in F. Even if you're only doing it temporarily, it's still a 2-5-1 in F. You you know, even if the key of your song is C major, you would still think of this as a 2-5-1 in F, even if you're only there for like for the one bar. So if just for the sake of now, we talk about this in terms of a 2-5-1 in F, then you could go 2, flat 2 to 1. You can do that. Depends on your context. Or you could go 1 and then 5 flat 9. That's great if you want to do minor. Stop just doing that all the time. So you could make that into you could back that up a little bit and maybe go, instead of 2-5-1, go back the way through the cycle. So instead of going, turn that into a 3-6-2-5-1. So chord 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. And you can totally play around with those chords even more. So you could go 3, you could go 3, flat 3, 2, flat 2, and 1. Or you could go, let's see, you could go 3, flat 3, and then that's going to lead you naturally to D flat major, which in the key of, we're talking primarily about the key of F, so that would be flat 6. So you would be going 2, flat 3, flat 6, flat 2 to 1. That can be a fun little departure to get your listeners to go, ooh, that's interesting. So, have fun with any of those kind of alternatives, Joe, if you're still here. Let's see. Musiposter says it'd be fun to do a trance or EDM song sometime as a group collab with subscribers. Yeah, for sure. Not really my styles. But anyway, Alps Media says, been a busy week for me. I'll contact you this week for sure. Cool. Looking forward to it, mate. Please do send me an email. But anyway, I think we have reached more or less the end of the show. I don't know if, Joe, you saw any of that stuff, but if you did, that would be awesome if you did see any of that. So, just back it up. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Or 3, flat 3, flat 6, flat 2. I've done that a variety of different ways. Lots of fun. Anyway, folks, on that note, or that set of chord changes, I'm going to bid you all a very good night, and I will see you all on Wednesday over on Jonny's channel, the Home Studio Trainer channel, for Songwriting Simplified. If you have not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. Where is it? It's over there. It's over there, isn't it? Hit the subscribe button, whichever way it is. It's either there or it's there. And hit the notification bell and select all notifications so that you get not only this live stream but any other videos that I put out, which I've got a whole bunch batch made already that I'm going to be uploading over the next few weeks. So check those out when they come. And until then, good night, everybody.